welcome to Yachting International Radio and the Wellbeing Project. You're with Karine, Rayson, the host of the Wellbeing Project, as well as the owner of the Crew Coach. Today, I have Owain Rowlands with us, a captain of a 50-meter super yacht. And what we're going to be focusing on today is mental health. The reason why we're focusing on mental health at this present moment is because in the States, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. In October, it's Mental Health Awareness Month in Australia and the UK. But because one of my service offerings is counseling, and it's an area that I specialize in, I think it's quite fitting for us to speak about it today. So welcome, Owain. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Karine. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yay, excellent. So in terms of mental health, how would you define mental health? What does it mean to you?
Some people class it as an illness or as a serious illness. I think it's just a wrong turn, maybe a little bit in some people's lives, or something that's going a little bit different. And those people just need help, whether it just sitting down and talking to them, having a cup of coffee, or some people a little bit more severe, depends on the life situations. But it's just a small part in your life that just needs to be addressed, and we carry on. That's the way I see it. That's my own personal opinion of it.
Yeah, just as we take care of our physical health, it's just as important to take care of our mental health. And it's interesting for me, the word illness, I think of, obviously the obvious is a sickness. And I think we should be mindful of how we describe mental health issues and the language that we use, especially in an age where, and I think this has been ongoing, where we have stigma associated with mental health issues, and to make the conversation more welcoming and inclusive, I think it would be advantageous for us to look at how we approach these conversations.
I find that for me, the word mental health.
Another one.
It's not the best choice of word, best choice of words, really.
Yes.
Because you are brought up as children, I guess, all your life, and people, when you hear the word mental, you go, ooh.
Yes.
And it's a different approach. So I don't know. I call it, I don't know what you could call it. I'm sure someone would come up with a word or a name, but I think that's what the big red signs are.
Yes.
All mental.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for raising that. That's such a good point. Mental. And don't know how you would reframe that.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure someone's got some gimmick or but that's never going to happen, I don't think. But
no.
Maybe in another 20 or 30 years, or some other generation will bring it.
Yeah. So in terms of obviously you've been in the industry since 2007. Have you noticed a change in terms of the conversation? And for the sake of this conversation, let's call it mental health. Have you noticed a change around this conversation?
Yeah, for sure. The younger generation are more open to talk about things. They've been made more aware of it, shoreside. So before they come into the industry, it's been drummed into their heads a little bit more than when. I mean, I'm only 34, but even the older generation, that was, you were just kind of shoved in the corner if there was a problem with you. And no, the conversation has definitely changed, especially around in the crew areas. People do talk about it, but there is a problem that is out there with that needs to be not addressed, but just to make people aware, and that's what we're here to do, is to make people aware of that there is issues out there behind closed doors.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was in an accountability group this week, and we did a check-in, and the gentleman in the group openly said, I am very depressed and I'm on antidepressants. And I think it took everyone aback. And I checked in with him after the call, and he said that he felt safe enough to share. And I think it's about creating a culture of safety on board our yachts so that crew can approach the appropriate person and ask for help.
We've got another bigger problem. It's not a bigger problem. It's we did, well, I volunteered to do this mental health awareness course, and there was lots of captains on there, and everybody started to open up after time. So, you know, it's difficult even as a captain to you're the top of the pyramid. You know, yes, we're cool and calm, and but there might be some problems. So the first step would be to make captains aware. That's what we're trying to do here, isn't it? Really? And crew. But if the top person has an awareness of it and is open to speak about it, then it's going to just roll down the rest of the ranks. So I think as a captain, it's difficult to speak out because a captain's life is a lonely life. Who do you speak to? One person, when I first took command of a yacht, they said to me when they were a captain years ago, they stepped up for their first drive, and then there was nobody there to tap you on the shoulder and say, well done, what a good job, because you have to do that yourself now. You have to motivate other people. So the first step would be to make awareness to the leaders, the top of the chain, really. That's my personal opinion, Karine. I think that's where we start as well in this industry.
Yeah,
you're more than welcome to fire back at me if you have different ideas, you know. But I mean, we can make everybody aware, but you have to start at the top.
Absolutely, and I think it's leading by example as well. And so when you can see it,
you can, you know, you can lead by example, which is good, but there's leading by example, and also what I try to do is you push the team from behind afterwards. So once you know what you're doing or you're made aware of something, then you can push them along, because they're going to be the future. They're the future of yachting. I might be, hopefully I can retire in 10 years. But the future of yachting is the crew that are around me working here today. That's the deckhands, the first officer, the bosun, the chief stewardesses. What, you know, these people are the future.
Yes. So when you did your mental health awareness course, you said that a lot of, and we won't disclose the people specifically, but just based on your observation, what was happening in the room, whether it was physically or virtually, what were you hearing?
Just people sharing their stories and their experience, which is nice to hear, because you can pick up on that and make sure that you try not to do the same mistakes in life or in the job. But I sat there a lot and went, wow, yeah, I never knew that, you know. And it's because you're not aware of it. It's happening around you, and you think you're doing the right thing, but other people do have other ideas. And I mean, I can't remember how many of us was on there, maybe 20 or 30 people, but people were very open about their story. Okay, some people weren't, but it was nice to hear that people are now opening up, telling their story, because we all have a bit of a story, why we're here, and why why you were taking an interest in mental health. You know, that's, everybody's got a story.
And by sharing, it normalizes the behavior, which is helpful in a way that it makes others feel that they're not alone.
Yeah, that's the main thing. We're all in this together. We're all in the same boat, excuse the pun. But yeah, everyone has to work together to get the right result.
And
So, yeah.
And Owen, have you experienced mental health issues yourself?
Well, I don't know. You're always going to say no, I didn't.
Mm.
But you know, I had a strange teenage years. When I was 13, my sister was 15. She was diagnosed with a quite a severe aggressive cancer, and we were fighting. She was fighting through it for 2 years, and sadly, she took her life in the end. So those years of teenage years were in and out of hospitals with my family, being at home alone, getting taken care of by my family members, my auntie or uncle, but I'm quite independent, so I said I'll just stay alone with myself, and I can cook, I can do what I need to do. And then you're trying to get this education in, so yeah, it was it did affect the teenage years, and it really affected me after she passed away. I was 15, so I was really down in a dark place, really dark place, which is not nice when you're 15 years old, and you know you do lock yourself away, and that's what I did. But what I did was eventually I joined the search and rescue, which is the RNLI back in the UK, the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, and those guys there pushed me along, lifted my spirits. I gave something back. I volunteered. I did training. We were training twice, maybe 3 times a week. So I got out of the house and the closed doors, and gave back. I gave something back. So now maybe it's my time to give something back here with this mental awareness. Because for me, there's no better feeling if you've lost somebody in your life, especially sisters or brothers or any family member. It can affect you. But at the teenage years, it really affected me. But that feeling to go out there, to go and you're rescuing somebody and giving that child back to that parent, or saving those people, and they say thank you to you, you get this good feeling. So you're giving something back, and that's what helped me through it. And being out of the water, I still do it now. When I go home, even if I'm home for just a few days, I still go down there, and I will still give my time to teach the other guys that are there, because I was helped. So that's what motivated me. And here we are, a couple of years later, started in yachting, and off we go.
Incredible. So for someone who is suffering from depression and they might not know it, and for others who perhaps could be educated around the signs of depression, are you able to give us some insight based on your experience with what it looks like?
It's I felt it was a bit of a downward spiral. It can get out of control very quickly. Because I was a teenager, I had to, because of the UK laws, I had to speak to somebody anyway, because there's a death in the family, and so I got a little bit of help that way. But for the depression side, it affects people differently. But Karine, it's that's a bit of a tough subject for me, really. How it's a dark place, and I wouldn't wish it upon anybody to be down there at all. You can come out of it fighting, but you need somebody there to push you. It's pushing. It's not leading. You can sit there, in a room full of people, full of leaders, but you can still feel very lonely. You can be lonely in a room full of people. So the depression is just having somebody that has a basic understanding of it, and just is pushing them along. If somebody was depressed here and you could see it, just have to, come on, let's go, let's do this, let's get out of it. you know, because there's a fine line, isn't there, between when someone gets depressed and then they start to make stupid decisions.
Yeah.
That will affect their family, their future. You know, sadly, we know that people do take their lives and things, and we that would be the worst phone call I think you could ever do as a captain.
Absolutely.
If something's happened like that on board a boat, it'd be terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
So how do you educate your crew around mental health? What is the culture on board?
Well, we started simply by just putting a little poster up in the crew mess that we're aware. You know, you're aware of mental health and the steps of it. It was given to me by somebody, and I stuck it up there. So it opens up to the crew going, these guys are open to this.
Yeah.
You know, you can put a sign up that says, don't put glass in the dishwasher. It'll take a few days, but eventually, maybe weeks to some people, but eventually we'll get there.
Yeah.
But it's just that they look at it, it's that visual. Oh, okay. You can walk past something 100 times, 1,000 times, but it still goes into the head. So that's very basic. That's very basic, isn't it? Just to make people aware. And we do have an open table. I always say to the crew, we have an open table here. We can talk openly about things, some things that we can't probably talk about on this radio station, on this radio chat. But yeah, it's just creating that environment. These people are away from their families, friends, especially now in the situation, they can't go out, they can't socialize. There's no bars open, you know. That's what we like to do, isn't it? That's what yacht crew do. We're seafarers. We're renowned for going out and having a few drinks and a good time. So it's tricky to keep the momentum going, but we try to have a laugh. Always have a laugh. I'm here. Open table. Talk about what you want. If there's any problems, let's talk about it. Talk about it openly. If you have your own personal problems, the door is always open, you know, to the office. It's an open door policy. Like I said to you, I experienced. I know what it's like to be depressed and in a bad place. So I know that there's a way out. The rise of I always think about myself like the rise of the phoenix. You know, you come out of the ashes and it's you get a new start in life. But no, it's open door policy. We're free to talk about it. We're here to raise awareness, mental health, and yeah, I'd feel, maybe my crew might say something different, but I feel that we try our best here to have a physical, yes, everyone's physical health, but we try and have this mental health because it's mentally challenging, this job, well, not just physically.
Yeah. And does the owner support your initiative or what you're trying to achieve about mental health on board?
I haven't really spoken to him about it. It was, you know, he's got his own things there. I don't really involve in that much. I'm employed here by him to put a team together to make sure that they're well, they're fit, healthy with what they eat. So I tend not to bother them that much, if I'm being honest with them. We have a management company. They're getting more and more aware of mental health as well, which is nice to see. But that is my job, you know, to make these people here safe and make sure they get home to their family.
Yeah.
And have a nice, happy life as much as we can.
Yeah. And with regards to substituting the activities that crew used to engage in before COVID with drinking and socializing, Have you replaced it with any other activities to promote connection?
We've tried a few things, but you know, we're currently in the shipyard here, so we can just step off the boat, and we have our own gatherings outside, or we do different things. And there's the shipyard are quite good. They've done their own clubs and outdoor exercising and everything. So we're still operational. You know, it hasn't been a massive kick. We can still use the gym here. It's good. I haven't experienced it full hand of a full breakdown of systems. You know, if that makes any sense to you. It's like we've always been able to do at least get out and run and keep fit and hang out together, indoor on the boat or outdoors when the weather's great. Not over the winter period, but yeah, it's been, I'm trying to think, but we've substituted with, you know, we socialize together all the time. It's a family on this size of boat. It has to be a family environment. So we just take care of each other.
Brilliant. Excellent. So with your experience around depression and the work that you have done, the volunteer work, what message could you impart to inspire or encourage the listeners? Big question.
That is a big question. For me, it's just stop and hi Karine, I lost. Are we good? Can you still hear me? Yeah, okay, sorry, I lost someone to cut me. Just stop, listen, take a step back and look. There's always somebody out there that you think that they're fine, but they're hiding behind a smile.
Yeah.
It's just in general operation. I can walk out here now once we've finished talking, walk past a couple of people, and you're like, "Are you okay?"
Yes.
I'm not going to walk past them with my head down and straight back to my office. It's like, I'm going to talk about that I've spoken with you. I'm going to take my time to speak to them. You walk past the galley and you say to the chef, "Are you okay? Do you want me to help wash those dishes?" Even if they go, "No, I'm fine. I'm fine." Okay. You know, it's just a constant. Just talk to everybody. Just check that everybody's okay. Because there will be a point where someone will say, "No, can you help me?" Sure.
Yeah, great advice. And that's, you know, I think the key is to be consistent. And you might feel a bit weird saying, "How are you? Are you okay?" And you get good, fine, no, you know, like very short and abrupt answers. But one day someone's going to open up and say, "You know what? Actually, I'm not fine. I'm not traveling too well." And that's what I've noticed through my experience. I had an 18-year-old who was severely depressed in prison, and they were going to put him under suicide watch because it was that bad. And he wouldn't eat, he wouldn't come out of his cell. And I just went to his cell every day and checked in, and eventually he came out for a 5-minute walk that led to a half an hour walk that led to an hour walk. And then he was able to take care of himself, and he was in a better mental space to function every day. And so that's why I think it's so important, as you said, to be consistent and be on top of it. Make eye contact and take the time to know your crew.
Yeah, you know, it is educating, like I say, it's educating the crew. I've had instances where you get stuck into this rhythm, and then somebody comes and asks you if you're okay, and they say, we haven't seen you, you know, we haven't seen you walk past, and you go, "Oh yeah, sorry." Then, you know, it's working as a team. It's all about teamwork. That's what we're here for, teamwork.
Yes. Very good, Owen. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your story. It's so courageous of you. And I have no doubt that your share will inspire others. And it's just about, as you said, educating people. And with education, we can make a change.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know, let's not be afraid of it. Let's just put it out on the table. Let's talk about it. That's how things get resolved. That's how problems get resolved in the world, not just mental health issues. It's just, if we have a business issue, we all sit down and we just talk about it, and we'll come to a solution and the next steps going forward. So we'll just do the same here with the mental health side of things.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks, Owen, for your time. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi there. If you are concerned about your mental health or that of a friend or colleague, please do get in touch. You can contact me via my website, www.thecrewcoach.com, where I have a page on counseling, or email me directly, Karine, Karine, @thecrewcoach.com.